everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about member orientation, not just new member orientation, just member orientation in itself, and a little bit about CNY. I'm just waiting for it to load here.
How do we look?
We look great. Thank you, Lizzie, for doing that. So today's agenda is going to be a little bit about our history, our values and guiding principles, our structure, our brand, Rotary acronyms and language. We all love our acronyms here. The Rotary Foundation and opportunities and expectations of members. All right, a little bit about our history. There's a lot of history here. So Paul Harris and his friends in 1905, remember they were a group of businessmen. If you guys have not heard this story, they were a group of businessmen, and that's where the Rotary wheel comes from. And they would get together to do projects. They were a group of businessmen. They would go to one business, go to the next, have lunch, go to the next. And they would have some fellowship, and they wanted to do service back into their communities. And their first project was comfort stations. And if we don't know what a comfort station is, it's also known as an outhouse, in which they placed in Chicago in 1905. Here's a little bit of a pathway here, and some of these are pretty cool. So in 1905, Rotary was founded. And then in 1912, Rotary went international with the first Rotary Club of Winnipeg, which is pretty cool because also in 1912, Syracuse Rotary is the 42nd club in Rotary. And why is that important for us as CNY? Because Syracuse is right in our district. The Rotary Foundation begins with a first donation of $26.50 in 1917. And I know you think like $26.50 doesn't seem to be a lot, but let's think back to 1917 and how much money $26.50 was. And then in 1943, Rotary adopts the four-way test, which we've all heard multiple times. In 1962, Interact and Rotaract clubs were launched, and now we know that Interact and Rotaract clubs are still here today, which are great programs. In 1985, Polio Plus began, and in 1989, so think about this, from 1905 to 1989, women were finally allowed into Rotary. And then in 2024, here we are, CNY Rotary is innovative and recognized as a new district. Here's a little bit about our values. Our core values are fellowship, leadership, diversity, integrity, and service. Our guiding principles, in which we all share together from every single club across Rotary, is the four-way test. Service above self and the object of Rotary. And on the right, we do have the Rotary four-way test, which we've all heard before. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And we always have a fifth one. Will it be fun?
Hey, Kimmy, fun fact, Walgreens uses the four-way test in their employee policies.
That's awesome. I didn't not even know that. It's a fun fact. The object of Rotary, the opportunity to build friendships while serving your community. High ethical standards in business, the value of different occupations, and the use of each Rotarian's professional skills in giving back. Why is that important? Every project that we do requires all of those. Incorporating service into every aspect of a Rotarian's life, both personal, business, and community. Increase cultural understanding, goodwill, and peace around the world, united under one banner of service. A little bit about our structure. Everything in Rotary starts with its members. So you are the heart of Rotary. You are our members, and everything starts with you. All other levels are intended to ultimately support the member. There are 1.4 million members worldwide, including Rotarians and Rotaractors. Remember, we talked about Rotaractors before? Now they can be counted in our numbers, and there's 1.4 million members worldwide. There are over 46,000 Rotary and Rotaract clubs in the world. Each club is unique. This is where the members serve and connect. So you are a member and you are part of a club. You guys go to your club meetings. You may go to visit different clubs, but you as a member are part of a club. Clubs are led by a president who typically serves for 1 year. Now, we all know this is flexible and can be modified to accommodate leaders to have multiple presidents within a year or to have longer serving terms. It depends on what your club needs. There also have a secretary, a treasurer, a board that make group decisions to lead that club. A president-elect is a person who will become president next. You may be hearing that in your club right now, talking about PELs that are coming up, which is president-elect learning, talking about who's going to be president next year. We call them president-elects. This is always a fun fact, which I love every time this comes up. Which are there more of on the planet Earth? Rotary clubs or McDonald's? And you guys can feel free to shout out what you think it is. Any
Rotary
guesses?
clubs.
Rotary clubs? Rotary has 46,000 clubs and McDonald's only has 41,000 locations. Think about how many McDonald's are in your area or your town. I can tell you, I can probably get to 10 different McDonald's within 15 minutes around me. So that's pretty big deal. A little bit about our structure. Districts are made up of clubs. So remember we talked about being a member of a club. All those clubs come together as a district, and our district is called CNY, Central New York. The purpose of the district is to support the clubs and members through education and providing resources. Just like we are doing tonight, our job is to educate, to let you guys know a little bit more about Rotary. District leaders become experts in things like public image, membership, foundation, and more. And I will give a plug there. If you guys happen to have a passion for any of those, we do have teams and committees in our district that are always looking for people to help in public image, membership, foundation, DEI. So feel free to reach out if you have a passion and would like to join any of those committees. And CNY is led by a regional president. In CNY, we have 111 clubs, 2,800 members, and 22 areas. Areas are made up of 4 to 6 clubs. So we have this whole district, and we've kind of broken it up to 22 different areas. So we got 4 or 6 clubs here, 4 or 6 clubs here. And they're overseen by an area rep, which help our district president. They help with communication between clubs and CNY itself. So here are our Rotary leaders. CNY president, which we have been talking with tonight, which is President Lizzie Martin, and she is 24 to 25. Behind her is CNY president. Ooh, we got to go back. Can we scoot back one? There we go. CNY President Bob Bulk. And he is going to be 25 to 26. So Bob will come in June of 2025 to June of 2026. I'm sorry, July 1 of 2025. CNY president behind Bob is going to be Pamela Baker Grattan, and she is going to come in July 26 to July 1, 27. And then behind them, we're very excited to announce that Sam Nesband is going to be our CNY president of 27 to 28. So here are a little bit of our Rotary leaders. So our immediate past president is Whitney Pangburn. Past president at large is Elizabeth Hirth. Past president at large also is Rocky Martinez. Our finance chair is Doug Larson. Our learning chair is Deb Gleason. Membership chair is me, Kimmy Talbot. Our DEI chair, Pam Baxter. Our foundation chair is Dawn Reese. Our youth exchange chair is Zoran Bullock. And you might say, what is youth exchange? Youth Exchange is a program that we have with our students and our younger people who are under 18 or maybe in school. Our public image chair is Melissa Rathburn, and our service chair is Kayla Dos Santos. Now, we talked a little bit about committees. These are the head of our committees also. And on the right, you'll be able to review later on also, is how they're kind of broken up our little executive board and our memberships. So a little bit more on our structure. We have what we call zones, and zones are made up of districts. So remember, you're a member of a club inside of a district, and all those districts are split into zones. The zone provides education and resources to your district leaders, led by our RI director. We are now in zone 32, which gets paired with zone 28 for training purposes. So you may hear things about zone 28 and 32. Here is our zone 28 and 32 director, Chris Etienne. And she is from the Rotary Club of Petoskey, Michigan. And she is a wonderful woman. Here's a little bit of a map about how the zones are. So you can see that this is us here in zone 32 right there. And those are all the other districts that are in our area, including Bermuda. We also have a sister zone, which kind of branches way up into Canada and Halifax, all the way up in there, and that is zone 28. Rotary International is the next part of our structure. It is headquartered in Evanston, Illinois, which is in Chicago. They are there to support all levels of Rotary and to be our guide. 3 teams overseeing RI operations are the board of directors, the board of trustees, executive staff, and it includes paid staff. So there are times where we also call Rotary International to ask them questions. And they are wonderful to, if you have a question, you can reach out and they'll get back to you. Now, remember when we said you are the heart of Rotary? Rotarians are right there in the center. You as members are the heart of Rotary. And I do love this image. So it's Rotarians, the club, and then the district, and then the zone, and Rotary International. We could not function without you as members.
Thanks, Kimmy. And sorry about the little flub on our slides there. When you mentioned my name, I thought, oh, I should put my name on here because it just says CNY Rotary, but apparently you're not allowed to do that if you're sharing the slides. So thanks everyone for your patience there. I'm going to take over and talk to you all about our brand, and I'm CNY Rotary President Lizzie Martin. So sorry I don't have it on the screen. I'm also a past public image chair, so branding is my jam. A brand includes all of the logos, images, and language that we use to identify oneself as a group. And for us, that's Rotary International. And the key to establishing a brand is consistency in how you look and how you present yourselves to the public. All of our branding resources for Rotary can be found at the Brand Center, which is brandcenter.rotary.org. Anyone can go there. You don't even have to be a member. You don't have to log in. You can go there and download pictures and videos and logos and all of these beautifully branded things so that you can look awesome. These are our logos. The one on the right is the one you might be most familiar with if you've been in Rotary for a while, and we sometimes call that the wheel. It's also formally known as the Mark of Excellence, and that's a wheel with the words Rotary International inside of it. It comes in 4 colors, yellow, blue, white, and black, and yellow is shown here. On the left is our master brand, and this is the primary logo that we should always be using. You'll see the version here I'm showing you has our simplified wheel, which is a wheel that does not have any lettering inside of it. And that just kind of translates better in a digital format. And certainly if you're embroidering anything, it's just a nice, simpler one. And because it's paired with the word Rotary, we know who this logo is for. The reason this is our primary logo is our marketing research has shown that when people see the Mark of Excellence, when they see the wheel, they don't necessarily know that it means Rotary. So by pulling the word Rotary out from inside the wheel and making it nice and big and prominent, we can better communicate that this wheel image is associated with Rotary International. So we always want to use the Rotary Master Brand logo. If you are going to use the Mark of Excellence or the wheel, you want it to always be big enough that you can read the lettering inside. So it's okay to use it. Just make sure you can read Rotary International in whatever format you're using it in. When it comes to our clubs, we have the ability to make a custom master brand logo. So every club can go in that brand center that I mentioned before, brandcenter.rotary.org, and create this custom logo. And here's some examples to show you there's a lot of flexibility because everyone refers to their clubs a little bit differently. So here's some examples from across CNY. And in addition to the way that you phrase your club's name and want to format that next to the word Rotary, above, below, or both, you can also download this logo in what we call here blue and gold, as well as all black, all white, and white and gold. And there's even all blue as well. So you'll have whatever color combo you need. If you go to brandcenter.rotary.org, up in the upper right, there's a help and FAQs link. And there you will find some really helpful how-to videos that will walk you through how to use the tool to make your club logo. Another important thing about our brand is how we talk about Rotary, and we're going to get into some more of the language of Rotary and our acronyms. But when we say Rotary, we mean all things Rotary. When we say Rotary International, we mean our overarching organization. And when we say the Rotary Foundation, we mean the charitable arm of Rotary, our foundation. One thing that we don't say is the Rotary. We are not in the Rotary. That comes across as very exclusive. And we want to be an inclusive and welcoming organization. So the way that we speak about ourselves can very subtly convey that. And if we're all saying the Rotary, that's going to give the wrong image. So you can say the Rotary Club or the Rotary Meeting or the Rotary Project, but I'm in Rotary, not I'm in the Rotary. That might be a hard habit for some to break, but I would encourage you to work on it because we want that inclusive language out there. So here are some of those acronyms and language things that are unique to Rotary or that are more common in Rotary than maybe everyday life. Here's a little glossary of terms to hopefully help you get acclimated. Fellowship is friendship and socializing. If you're not in Rotary or civic organization or church, that's not a pretty common word. As well as vocation, which is just a fancy way of saying your profession. Your classification in Rotary is your job title. So for me, I'm in advertising sales. When we say conference, we're talking about our local district conference versus when we say convention, we're talking about the Rotary International Convention. Those are both big events that happen once a year, one local, one international. Here's a whole bunch of acronyms. We won't go through them all. You'll get a copy of these slides after the meeting that Kimmy will email out to all of our attendees. But some you're probably very familiar with, like RI is Rotary International. PE, we talked about before, is a president-elect. And then TRF is the Rotary Foundation, also a very common one that you're going to hear, as well as PDG, which is past district governor. We have a few of those on the call tonight. Few more acronyms for some of our programs. We've got Youth Exchange or YE or YEP, depending on where you're from. We have our Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, which we call RILA, and RLI, Rotary Leadership Institute, a great learning opportunity. We've got one more on the calendar for this Rotary year to share with you. And then PHF, a Paul Harris Fellow, that's an award you can get from the Rotary International Foundation. So you can see here, there's quite a few. Hopefully these are helpful and they'll be a good reference for you when you get a copy. Moving on to talk about our foundation. This is, as I said, the charitable arm of Rotary International, and it is run by a board of trustees. Kimmy mentioned in our little history tour that it was started in 1912 by Arch Klump. It has had a perfect rating in Charity Navigator for 16 years now. And that's pretty amazing when you compare it to the other charities that they rank. And we're really in the very top elite of charities in the whole world. There are many ways to give to the Rotary Foundation with several different funds that you can choose from that all serve different purposes. Last year in Rotary, we gave away millions of dollars towards disaster response through grants. And then we also have each year one program of scale grant, which is where we take a program and scale it up big with lots of money and support. So there's a lot that is being invested in the world to make it a better place. And these are all serving the many areas of focus within Rotary. So here's some of those different ways you can give. We have our annual fund. The money that you give to the annual fund gets invested for 3 years, and then half of it gets returned to CNY, and we use it in our local grants program. So truly, the money that you give to Rotary International in this way can come right back to our region and be used by your clubs. When you give to the endowment fund, you're essentially leaving money to Rotary to invest, usually as a bequest in your will. And that can also support our grants program, or it can support a cause that you choose. Then the World Fund is where you can choose which cause in Rotary you want to support. And then, of course, we have our Polio Plus program, which is working to eradicate polio around the world. So important now more than ever. We are very close. We've come such a long way. And as Kimmy mentioned again in that history tour, we started back in 1985, and we really want to wrap that up. And it requires a lot of commitment from folks all around the world, but particularly driven by Rotary and our Polio Plus initiative. Here's some language that we use in the foundation for recognition purposes. When people give money, we certainly want to recognize and celebrate that. Every Rotarian, every year, E-Ray is a title that we give to clubs whose members all gave something that year. A sustaining member is someone who gives at least $100 every year on an ongoing basis. A Paul Harris Fellow is an award bestowed on someone who has given $1,000 to the foundation. And that can be awarded to a member or a non-member, and you can give and then bestow a Paul Harris on someone else to thank them for their service to your community or your club. And there's some higher ups. There's the Paul Harris Society, being a major donor once you hit 10,000, and then Arch Clump Society is amazing, and that's when you've given 250,000 or more. So there are a lot of recognition levels within these as well. As I said, Polio Plus, we started in 1985. We are truly dedicated and will follow through on our promise to the world to only in the second time in human history eliminate a disease from our planet. Polio is devastating to the communities where it exists and so scary for the families whose children are at risk. Our partners include the World Health Organization, CDC, UNICEF, Gates Foundation, and others. And over these many years, we've immunized billions of children. We are down to just 2 countries that are endemic with wild polio virus, and that's Afghanistan and Pakistan. The network we've created is going to transform healthcare for future generations. It already has been a major factor in distributing the COVID-19 vaccine and other things since the pandemic has really impacted people around the globe. So be really proud of being a Rotarian and being part of this project. Here's our grants programs that all of our clubs have access to participate in, and these are the ones that are directly funded by how much our members give to the annual share fund. Our CNY Rotary grants are matching dollar grants. We have a special seminar you have to attend in order to qualify to apply, as well as you have to follow some reporting guidelines throughout the year to make sure we know the money is going to the project for which it was intended. Our seminars are coming up. There's going to be one in February, one in March, and one in April, and the applications are due by end of May. And our chair for our subcommittee on grants is past District Governor Dave Hennel. You'll be able to connect with him at our upcoming learning assembly and at conference. Now, global grants are also something that your clubs can participate in. These are much bigger projects. They start at $30,000, so you can imagine that's a much larger scale. And that's where we have 2 international districts pairing up to work on this grant. And the money comes from the districts as well as from Rotary International. And keep in mind, one thing we like to make sure people remember about global grants, that doesn't just mean it's people from CNY doing projects abroad. You can partner with an international district to do a project here in CNY as well. And we've done that most recently in the southern tier part of CNY. There were a couple of dozen Narcan boxes installed in the community. So that's a really big need for us with the opioid epidemic happening here in the US. And our global grants are led by past District Governor Lana Roof. She has so much experience doing the global grants. If you ever have just an idea and you want to explore if it could be a global grant, you can reach out to her. All right, let's get you engaged. There are 5 avenues of service in Rotary. These are the 5 different ways in which you can serve as a member. There's club service, which is where you're helping with the running of your club, making sure that both you and your fellow members have a great member experience at your club meetings, maybe helping set up social events, and being a leader, taking on a leadership role. Is a great opportunity to grow yourself as a person, to develop new skills, and of course, it's very beneficial to your club. Community service, that's certainly what most of us signed on to Rotary to do, and that's doing our projects out in the community. Vocational service, one we don't hear or talk about quite as often, but that's using our professional skills to give back. That was part of the object of Rotary, Kimmy shared with us earlier, as well as celebrating the value of all professions and how they contribute to your communities. So sometimes you'll put on programs that highlight those professions in your community. Youth service, participating in any of our youth programs for Rotary, whether it's Youth Exchange or RILA or Interact. And then international service, so giving to the Rotary Foundation to support worldwide service projects, participating on global grants, joining Rotary action groups, any of that kind of international activity. As Kimmy mentioned before, we always welcome folks to join our committees at the CNY Rotary level. And if you're passionate about any particular area of Rotary, whether it's service, putting on events for fellow Rotarians, public image membership, DEI, foundation, youth, we would love to have you join us. And there's also leadership roles available at the zone level. So there's a lot of opportunity to expand and grow as a person in Rotary. Here's a couple ways you can get connected online. There's a Club Finder app from Rotary International. It helps you find a club anywhere in the world. If you're ever traveling, please know, once you're a member of Rotary, you can attend and visit any Rotary club anywhere. It's something I know people who travel like to try and plan if they can. We also have an app for Club Runner. We just had a webinar on this and we just posted the recording from it on our website tonight. So if you missed that and you want to catch up, the Club Runner app is really helpful to find a club near you, to look up contact information, to update your own contact information, just extremely handy. There are 2 places where you're going to have to log into things for Rotary. The first is My Rotary. This is your profile at rotary.org. To set up your login, just go to my.rotary.org. And if it's your first visit, click to set up an account. Rotary will recognize you by your email address. Make sure you use the one that's on file with them. They'll match it up and know you're a member, and you'll have access to all the wonderful things on rotary.org, including the Learning Center, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Club Runner is the system we use locally for managing our database and website with CNY Rotary. So this one you have a preset login for. So if you don't know it, reach out to your club secretary or president. They can provide you your username and password so you can get logged in. This is where you're going to update anytime you have a change in your contact information, address, email, phone, job, any of that database information that's in there. Also, sometimes when we have events going on, you might log in using your Club Runner login. Here's some important websites and social media channels that you might want to follow or connect with. Again, when you receive a copy of these slides, you'll be able to click on these links. But we certainly have cnyrotary.org is a very important website to check in on regularly. Hopefully, if your club has a site, you're familiar with it. Not all clubs have websites. That's okay. We also have lots of social channels on Facebook and Instagram for CNY, for Rotary, for End Polio Now, and maybe your club does too, so make sure you're following along with everybody. Go to those pages and like and follow. District events that you will want to plan to attend. This one's kind of new. The area visit is new now that we're CNY and we have over 100 clubs. It's not reasonable to expect that the president is going to be able to visit them all individually. So we now hold area events, which will bring together all the clubs in those 22 areas for 22 different visits. I only have 4 left to go for this year, and these parties are a lot of fun. They're very social and casual, and it's a great time for us to just connect and talk directly about what you might need to have a great Rotary experience. Our annual conference, we mentioned this before in our language segment. This is where we're going to get together, celebrate, learn, have fun, cut loose, learn a few new things, meet some wonderful people. And I'll tell you all about that one in a minute. And then we also have social events throughout the year. So last summer we had several sporting events that we all got together and attended. Coming up, we're going to have the Rotary Birthday Extravaganza with parties happening all across CNY at the same time on Rotary's 120th birthday, free for you to attend, cupcakes provided. But also know that anybody can plan a social event for CNY. If anyone has an idea, come to the CNY Events Committee and let us know, and we'll support you and any opportunity for us to all get together. Here's a little bit about our international convention. These are huge, huge events. Tens of thousands of people in attendance. They have amazing speakers and entertainment. If you have an opportunity to go to an international convention, please take advantage. My very first one was in Montreal in 2009. I was a little baby Rotarian, and I went with my grandparents, and the entertainment was Cirque du Soleil, and Dolly Parton was there to receive a Paul Harris Fellow for her work with the Imagination Library, and one of the keynote speakers was the Queen of Jordan. I mean, it was really, I was blown away. We were in the Bell Arena, like where the Canadiens play, and the arena was huge and a little scary when you're in the high up seats. But it was really a wonderful experience. So this June, it will be in Calgary, and then you can see some of the future days, future locations, and how it travels around the world. riconvention.org is where you can go to register and learn more about planning a trip. Here's the expectations that we have for all members. What your club might expect from you would be a little different, and hopefully your club has their own message for that for you. But in general, we ask that members follow the 4-way test, that they commit to the goals and objectives of our organization that we've shared tonight, engage and participate with your club and with district activities. That's what's going to make it fun. Support Rotary's initiatives, support our foundation, which also supports our initiatives, and also pay your dues. The more that you say yes to opportunities, the more rewarding your experience is going to be. You really, truly get out of it what you put into being in Rotary. Speaking of paying dues, let's talk about what that money goes towards, because we know that being a member is a privilege, and we want to be transparent as well. So when you pay your dues each year, a portion goes to Rotary International, a portion goes to CNY, and part of it stays with your club. And that money is used to cover costs like websites, PO boxes, communication tools, insurance, the subscription to Rotary Magazine, training for our leaders, these learning events that we're hosting that are free for you to attend, and other programs like Youth Exchange. If you ever have questions about dues, definitely ask your club leaders. Don't be shy. Here's some learning opportunities that are typically available each year. We have our Learning Assembly, which is a free training for club leaders held each spring. And this year it'll be part of our conference on Friday, April 4th at 8 a.m. We also have our President-elect Learning Seminar, which you'll hear called PELS. And this is a session specifically for incoming club presidents. But it is open to all who want to attend. There are also virtual sessions happening next month. Those are definitely open to everyone because it's on Zoom, so the more the merrier. And you'll see a schedule for those available. I have a website coming up here where you can get all the details on both. The Rotary Leadership Institute is actually a partner program, and it's a great way to increase your Rotary IQ by sharing and delving into experiences, challenges, successes with fellow members. There's 3 levels to complete, and then you graduate. And after that, they have graduate courses that are a different topic each year. So there's always learning to be done through RLI. On here, I have it costs approximately $75 to attend, but it's a lot less than that for our upcoming event in March in Johnson City. And it's only $25 if you're starting out on level 1, $40 for all the other levels. Actually, on our call tonight is past District Governor Matt Adler, and he's our site chair for our Johnson City event. So thanks for being here, Matt. Another great resource that you have for learning is right online at your fingertips, and that's the Learning Center. This is an amazing resource for all of our members. And to me, I guess I should put it on the do slide, because part of what you're getting out of Rotary is this awesome learning tool that's going to give you topics that go well beyond Rotary, which you'll see in my examples on the next slide. To get to the Learning Center, go to My Rotary, which is my.rotary.org. You'll log in. Remember, I told you how to log in. If it's your first time, set up your account. And then under the Knowledge and Support tab, you'll find the Learning Center. Everyone in CNY is pre-enrolled in the CNY New Member Basics course, which you'll find in your dashboard once you are in the Learning Center. And that includes the 7 basic courses that we think every member should complete. And if you haven't been in the Learning Center in a long time, this is something that you should check in on, even if you've been in Rotary for a long time. There are courses in here that can help you prepare for just about any role in Rotary at the club and district level. Here's some examples of courses that you can take in the Learning Center. So you can see some are really specific to Rotary, right? Rotary's action plan, promoting Rotary on social media. But there's others that could be helpful tools for you to use that maybe in your job or just your personal life. Building consensus, leading a hybrid meeting, resiliency, fundraising basics. These are really great skill development opportunities for anybody, and think of your young professionals especially. Here are some of the events that are coming up. We've touched on a few of these already. Tomorrow night is our public image webinar, Savvy Social Media. And so you can get some great tips on having a great presence on your club's social media, including some time-saving tips, which is really important for us volunteers. You can register for that at cnyrotary.org/events. I mentioned RLI already, March 1st in Johnson City. That's open for anybody to attend, and you register at rlinea.org. I also had already talked about our pre-PELS sessions. Those are those virtual president-elect learning sessions. Those are going to take place once each week next month, and you can get the details, including the Zoom link, posted right there at rotaryempiremdpels.org. And finally, our district conference, which I'm very excited about, is April 4th through the 6th at the Hilton downtown in Albany. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the Conference of Champions. We'll have a sports theme throughout the weekend, which will just be fun and silly. If you check out our website, cnyrotary.org, you'll see more information about conference, what to wear, what to expect, and we're launching more information every day, including registration will launch this week. The place to go for the latest news and information about anything happening in CNY is the CNY News Network. Again, that lives on cnyrotary.org. And also follow us on social media. Everything that goes in the news network goes on social media. There's a lot of communications out there to keep everyone posted, everyone, up to speed, because there's a lot going on. Being in Rotary is the greatest opportunity if you take advantage of it. You really will develop true friendships. And I know some of you on the call have been in Rotary for a long time, and you know this to be true, as well as those of us in business, whether it was when we first started in Rotary and now we're retired, or we're still folks who are in the working world. The business networking is true, genuine. I want to do business with you, or I want to refer someone to you because I trust you and I know your values as a person. The leadership opportunities and the ways in which you can grow and expand as a human being in your skills, time management, project management, fundraising, membership recruitment, all these things that we do in Rotary are just awesome. And the connections that we make are truly ones that can last a lifetime. Of course, the ability to give back. I mean, that's what drives us all for the most part when we first walk in the door. All this other stuff is a gift that comes with it. So thank you for being here tonight and taking this opportunity to grow your Rotary IQ and for committing to being in Rotary. It's going to, benefit the world, but also benefit you.
Thanks, Lizzie, for finishing that up there.